Hi everyone, I'm Cass. Welcome to Life Updates with Cass. I'm super excited to introduce our special guest, recurring because he's just that awesome, Kevin Akahoshi. Awesome. Kevin, please introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, your cohort that you attended at LearningFuze, and what you're currently doing.
Sure. Do you want me to go into what I did before the bootcamp and like what led me to the bootcamp, or should I just?
Yes. Background, just
okay.
a little.
Cool. Okay. So my name is Kevin Akahoshi. Currently working as a software engineer 2 at Cox Automotive. My cohort was 919, so 2 years now, basically. And yeah, I did the full immersion program. Ultimately, before I actually decided to pursue programming and software development full-time, I was working in a couple different positions in the tech industry as an account manager, working with websites and different clients, and ultimately didn't really find it fulfilling after, and it's just very stressful. So yeah, I was encouraged actually by one of my coworkers at an agency I was at to pursue this because he went to LearningFuze, and I just took a chance and doubled down on myself, which I am extremely happy with the decision because it's totally transformed my lifestyle for the better. So.
Yay. Thank you so much. And, I definitely love, doing life updates with you just because I feel like you just a huge proponent of personal growth and continual learning. But that is channeled and exemplified by your career and trajectory. So I just think that your story is just always super interesting to always reflect upon. Right. But yeah, if you want to tell us, what does a day in the life of Kevin look like?
Well, a typical day would be, getting on the computer. We have stand up at 10 a.m. So sometimes I'll usually eat breakfast or whatever, and then afterwards I'll spend like an hour either working on something that's in the middle of the sprint if I have time, or, if I'm kind of done with everything for the sprint, then I'll maybe look at tech articles or kind of chat with my coworkers about stuff. We do the stand up. That's for 15 minutes. And basically each stand-up, each team member is going to talk about a user story that they work on. So as a user, I want to do this, and then we basically work on the feature or a bug or whatever. And then after the stand-up, we have processing. So we go to a meeting where we work with another team on the same application, talk about what deployments we're going to be doing, any problems we have. After that, usually go on a walk around the block, and then I'll have like a couple hours to work on like whatever story that I'm assigned at the time for lunch. Go to lunch, and then in the afternoon, sometimes we have additional meetings. So sometimes we'll have sprint planning meetings, retrospective meetings, where we kind of talk about what went well during the sprint, what could have done better, things like that. Or we'll just talk about like planning of projects or initiatives and sort of like the defining what we're looking to get out of like the next sprints that are coming up.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then what would you say is the percentage like in your work is like meetings versus actual development? Yeah.
It's quite a bit of meetings, actually. I would probably say like you could estimate realistically like a third of the day.
That's a good chunk, actually.
Like I've had days where it's over half. So,
oh wow.
But I mean, on average, like it's not every day. That's kind of like but yeah, I mean, you do especially for a larger company, like you're gonna have a lot of meetings that are like planning meetings, and it's more about communicating to other departments about what we should be doing or what we're working on and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Awesome. Well, and that's good to know, especially considering like actually in your like what is your goal in terms of where you want to specialize? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to like climb up the ladder, right? Or do you want to specialize in a specific in terms of tech?
That's a good question. I think that my personality and like communication style and stuff could lend well to being in some type of more of like a leadership position long term. Like if I don't know if that necessarily means like an engineering manager, but like
sure,
could be like a tech lead or something on the team. You know, like I actually still enjoy like individually contributing, like basically working on the code is nice. So I wouldn't mind, you know, being like a senior on the team that can provide some type of mentorship to the people on the team that are a little newer, technical lead, something along those lines.
Okay.
Long term. So
definitely. Yeah, because we've had some lunch and learns where we invite, especially like those who are more up on the chain, and it's like, oh, how much time do you end up coding? And it's like, I wish I could code more. Yeah. I mean, especially you gotta keep up your streak.
I know. I'm like a completionist. I can't, now that it's like filled up, I can't stop. You know, like it's.
You gotta make it so when people click through the years, all they see is just every square filled up. Oh my gosh. I think that'd be super neat to see how far you continue that and be super excited. And
I'm addicted to making
was it commit before you, what did you used to say? Wait, like you even committed before you like left to go out?
Oh yeah, I have to. I mean, I know I'm not going to be home before midnight.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, I still work on projects and stuff. Outside of work, but I mean, obviously, I don't have as much time to like. You know, it's usually like 1 or 2 PRs. It's like I'm working on like on a feature. Like I'll just make like some small changes, do some testing to make sure that it's not breaking.
Nice. That's good.
Where I left off.
That's true. And then actually speaking of like the projects that you still work on, which one is your current and like or I guess which one is your favorite that you like to work on outside of work?
Yeah. So the project I'm working on right now is probably the biggest one that I've done. And I wanted to try a different approach to like doing this because I think basically the way we did apps before was like more of like a mono repo where like the front end and the back end are like one repository, and I wanted to try to decouple the front end and the back end. So I basically have one repo for the back end, repo for the front end. The database is going to be like a separate thing, and basically the way that I'm making an application right now where it's sort of like an itinerary planner type thing.
Okay.
You can upload photos to it, which uploads those photos to Google.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like it was just and I was like my opportunity to try out new technologies. So the front end is using Next.js, but I'm not really leveraging it to its full potential. But you know, it is what it is for now. I'm just like get it working. Back end is Node and Express. I'm using Prisma for the ORM, PostgreSQL database, and then use Google Cloud.
Very nice. How do you kind of determine which technologies you want to play with when you're building out your side projects?
It's hard because there's always like new ones coming out that are like, oh, this one's supposed to be the best. Like I actually just heard about this new Next.js like competitor. Remix, and so that one's supposed to solve some of the problems that Next.js struggles with. It's supposed to be really fast, so I don't know. I mean, I would say like not to focus too much on like the technologies, you know, like
Right.
if there's one that you think would be good, like research like what some of the use cases of it would be, and then determine if that would be like, something that actually would benefit your project that you're working on. I personally was like, oh, Next.js would be good because a lot of companies now are using Next.js. So it gives you at least a little bit of exposure there. Plus, it solves some of the problems that like just create React app might have problems with. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, overall, I don't know, and it's just kind of fun to play with.
Very true. That's, I mean, that's really good to hear, just because I know like there's so many like shiny objects, or not shiny objects, but like, you know, when you're like, oh my God, this is nice, let's learn this too.
Yeah, I would say like personally, I don't go after every shiny object, but it is cool to at least like read about them, because then you at least know about them. If there is a scenario where you're like, this is a good time to use this, then you at least have that knowledge in the toolbox.
What are some of your favorite ways to keep up with new trends? Let's say, you know, Next.js's competitor.
Well, it's cool because my coworkers are actually pretty in tune with this. Like, I actually heard about Remix I heard about Remix initially through YouTube, but then my coworker sent me a blog post that Remix put out that compared Next and Remix. So I was able to kind of like read through like what some of the differentiating factors were.
Yeah.
Why Remix is cool. But yeah, I would say like Reddit, Discord. You know, if you look through like YouTube recommendations for people that like Google or like YouTube software development videos a lot, you'll start seeing like, oh, this is what you need to know. So.
Gotta those especially those influencers hyping on the train.
Algorithm will get you.
For sure. And then, you know, now that, I mean, you're at a company with a really good company culture, how has that influenced what your personal values are, or that are important to you?
Yeah, I think that being in a company that gives you opportunities to grow on the job and is like understanding that you're not going to be an expert in every area is super valuable, super important. Like, you don't want to work somewhere where you're very new and they have like very high expectations of you to like understand exactly how their tech stack works, understand, you know, like technologies you've never worked with before, like, you know, because I mean, yeah, there are a lot of underlying concepts that will apply between programming languages and systems, but you know, like it still takes time to like learn about this. And so being at a company that gives you opportunities to work with new technologies or work with in areas that you may not feel super strong in, so that you can actually level up your skills and like provide that mentorship to you and give you leeway in terms of like how much time it takes for a task. Like, they're not on you to like get it done, but before you really understand how it's supposed to get done. Like, I think those are all things that are super important. Being on a team with friendly people. So you need to like people.
have coworkers that are also interested in sending you top trends.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy. Like, my team is super cool. My teammates are great. And like I said, like, I have opportunities to work in parts of the tech stack.
Yeah.
That, you know, I wouldn't necessarily have that.
Yeah. That's true. And then, do you have any current favorite breweries that you've been interested in?
Current favorite breweries? Well, Monkish just opened up in Anaheim, so I would definitely go there. It's actually Anaheim Pack. But what I've really been getting into lately is actually tiki cocktails. So those are cool. But yeah, if you want like a really cool hangout spot, you can't go wrong at Monkish right now because it's packing nice. So you could get food and beer. And,
yeah. Very nice. I know you were, especially with your first initial applications during the program. So I'm really glad that you're still keeping up with new places that you want to try out. So that's really good. Do you have any last minute advice? At least those incoming or those considering a career in tech?
I mean, there's so many like things that you could, so much that you could say. I would say that like being consistent is super important. I always stand by that. You gotta like continue to practice, because if you don't, it's like any other skill, you know. Like essentially, you're learning a new like language. Like imagine if you learned how to speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Stop speaking Spanish. It's like you're not gonna remember how to speak Spanish. So you're just writing a language, but it's for computers. So yeah, I would say that like be consistent. You know, you're going to have scenarios where you're not the expert, and to not feel bad about that. Something that actually is really important too is that like when you're new and you're like submitting a pull request, your pull request is absolutely going to get demolished in a code. Like you're going to have things that need to change. You know, like the people that are more senior than you are going to be like, you should do it this way. I think we should do it this way. They're not saying that to be rude. They're saying that because they're giving you opportunities to learn those things, and it's also like they have more like experience working with like the tech stack that they have. So don't take it personally. Basically, is what I'm saying. When your PR gets like torn to shreds, it's okay. It's not a reflection of you as a person. It's simply like you're not writing this code for yourself. You're not writing it to impress somebody. You're writing it for the company, and the team's responsibility is to make sure that code is functional.
Yeah. That's really good to keep in mind, especially like not taking things personal. Plus, I think it's a really good indicator that you do continue to have room for improvement, room for growth, that continual learning, right? So I think that is really good advice to not take it too seriously. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you're like, oh man, I just killed it, and then like you just get all this feedback, and you just have to basically put aside your ego, because it's like there's a reason that you're getting this content. And also too, like I would say that most people that are giving that feedback, like they're not, if it's sort of like not like a blatant like, yo, this is not gonna work type of thing, like it's a suggestion. If you know, they're usually okay if you say, hey, like I think it would be better this way because of X, Y, and Z. And they might change their mind. They might be like, that happened today. I had some feedback on a pull request, and then like, well, yeah, we could do that, but you know, are you going to know what that means in 2 months? Is that going to be clear enough for you? You know?
Yeah.
And the person that left that comment agreed with me that leaving it how it was would actually be better in the long term.
Communication, collaboration, teamwork. That's pretty much what it is at the end of the day. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for continuing to share your insights and your experience. And I hope everyone else also learned something new today. But thank you for joining us on Life Updates with Cass. I thought you were gonna say Libby.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's start.
Okay, you're ready? Life Updates with Cass. Thank you.